Alright, next up is this one. This is from a company called Revpunx, and this is called the Royal Punk. And I have the brass version here. A tri-spinner, obviously. It's got weights out at the edge. I don't know why it doesn't look punk in any way, so I'm not sure what that's all about, but anyway. This is one of those that it's kind of large, has a large diameter, or spin diameter. It's one of those that kind of feels slow and smooth, you know, when you pull it or throw it. It just seems to be, you don't get it up to a really high velocity, and it just seems really nice, slow and smooth. So feels smooth all around. So I'm going to test this one out and see what kind of spin times. With this one, I would kind of hope, I would kind of hope that it would get a really good spin time, because that's the kind of the thing that would determine whether this is really really worth it. It's just kind of, as a tri-spinner, it's just kind of a typical tri-spinner with a unusual design. Okay. Okay, so this is the Revpunx Royal Punk spinner. Probably I'd start with this one by saying that it has a pretty decent price. It's $34.99 on Revpunx's website. You can also pick it up on the Spinetic website. I think it costs more there. So given the price, $34.99, all it's got to be is a pretty good fidget spinner to be worth the money. So that said, there's some things about it. One, I don't find it terribly attractive. It's got kind of this goofy design to it. I don't see anything punk about it or really royal about it either. And I don't really like the name Revpunx, and I don't really like the name Royal Punk. I don't really know what a I don't really know what a royal punk is. I know what punks are, like my cat is being right now. In any case, it's a pretty standard tri-spinner. It spins really well, and it's not difficult to use. It's not really easy. There's nothing really special about the way it works. It works pretty just like any other, and but it works okay, despite the weird design. It did turn out to be a pretty long spinner. It weighs 78 grams, which is respectable, and it got an average spin duration of 7 minutes and 58 seconds. Which is an extremely good spin time for something that weighs only 78 grams. So it was actually scoring over 8 minutes in most situations. On one side, I can't remember, obviously I don't know which side it is, but on one side, either this side or like that, it only spun around 7 minutes. But on the other side and vertically, it spun 8 minutes. Not sure why that is. Must have something to do with the bearing. But we can guess from this that it has a really nice bearing. It is a 10-ball stainless steel R188. And one really cool thing about the way it spun was that when I had it at really high velocity, right after I took the air off of it, it slowed down pretty quickly, which kind of indicates that it's not terribly aerodynamic. but once it got down to lower velocities, it just kept going and going and going. You think the thing's going to stop within 30 seconds, and it goes on for another 3 minutes. So that tells me it's got a pretty good bearing in it. So that's a good thing. Maybe I can just show you here. If I just touch it a little bit and let it go, it just keeps going. And that's pretty cool, because that's more realistic to what it would be like if using it with your fingers than blasting it with an air hose. So that's a good thing about it. The other thing I like about it is it's got a really nice big buttons on it, which I like big buttons. They're much easier to hold. The ones that have small buttons, you have to hold them you have to pinch them just right and everything. With this thing, you can just grab it however you want, and it works just fine. So this thing has a lot of positive qualities to it. It's got a couple of irritating little things, like especially the name and kind of the way it was designed, the way it looks is not that wonderful. But for $34.99, that pretty much answers the question. For $34.99, it's very worth it. And if you like long spinners, this one fits in that category. This would be one you can pick up and for a relatively inexpensive price and get long spins out of it. And that's the way that goes. I got on their website, and they've got this thing in a lot of different colors and styles, but it's all this one style. They all look like this, except they're different color styles and patterns and things like that. They've got one other spinner, a bi spinner, which didn't look that terribly interesting. So I just most of it's just this. So they're going with this design, but you can pick up a different metals and different colors on the Revpunx website. All right.